alive or we're not. One of those two things.
One of those two things is true.
Yep. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things.
Theoretically, we're live. Although it does have a delay, so it might not actually be live, but, we're live-ish.
Oh, no, we're live. I can see it on the other screen.
Now we're live.
Right, yeah.
Cast Strength is live and in effect.
From New York, it's cut. Oh, wait, no.
That's none of that is true. None of us are anywhere near there. It's crazy. Yeah, what is this? Episode 41.
Woo! Hey, next episode, we're going to have to do a Douglas Adams theme then, eh?
Sure.
Oh.
Hope you guys know where your towels are.
Yeah, I do.
Good.
Yeah.
I figured you for a hoopy fruit.
How's everybody doing out there?
Oh, no, it's 4 of you now. Yep.
All 4 of us?
All 4 of us.
Including us 3?
Yeah. So it's just Steve A and Mark.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can have an audience of Steve A and Mark. That's fine by me.
Yeah, it works for me.
What are we drinking, though? That's going to be the question.
Oh, let me think about what I am drinking.
Jeremy, what are you drinking over there?
No, not that one. That one.
There it is.
I know what I'd like to be drinking.
Poor Jeremy, drinking his Grants.
But I admire his steadfast ability to maintain integrity on this experiment.
Sure.
It's been difficult.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to mess with him by drinking Hibiki 17, though.
Oh, that's awesome.
See, it's all right, because I've had Hibiki 17, unlike Vito, who keeps forgetting that he's had Hibiki 17, because he's always too pissed when he gets to it.
Yeah, weirdly, this one is actually straight from Japan, too, so I don't even know what the...
It says this bottle contains Hibiki 17. And
I hope so. I hope it's real and not just a bullshit label that they slapped on something. Whatever it is, it's tasty. I'm assuming that it's Hibiki 17.
Yeah, it's actually just some Lipton tea left out in the sun for a bit, and then a bit of vodka splashed in.
You never know, I guess. But if that's the case, I could have saved a lot of money, too. It actually wasn't bad when I got it. Thankfully, I got it before they stopped making it and the prices suddenly skyrocketed to insanity. But it was still a pain.
Is it a case of they stopped making it, or is it a case of they're out of stock because
they stopped choosing to save things long enough, I guess, to make Hibiki 17 rather than just sell a lot more whiskey at a younger age.
Man, I tell you what, in 10 years' time, when stocks are starting to be a little bit surplus, life is going to be good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll flood back in once they start getting their stocks back up.
And then we slowly hoard it so that in 10 to 15 years' time, when the next whiskey boom happens, we're like, haha, look at us, we've got all of this.
I mean, that could be the plan, but then I would just drink it.
I was going to say.
And then the whiskey boom would happen, and I'd be like, damn it. I already drank that.
I used to have that. It was really good.
Yeah, it was.
I could get it again.
Yep.
I am having a real time here, folks, trying to open up this bottle. Sometimes I tighten bottles really tight.
Like really, really tight?
Yeah, like so tight that the last gathering we were at, 2 people who are bigger than me, one of them who's considerably bigger and stronger than me, couldn't open the bottle, and then I took it and opened it up. I have really, really strong fingers.
I know that we're not at the 5-minute mark, but penis size is not proportional to strength. Right?
That's what they tell me. I've been reassured that all the time.
And Mark, I don't know if rum's the next on the list. Just generally, historically, it's a clear spirits boom. So, your vodkas and gin, if only you had a distillery to fall back on clear spirits and refine.
Sure. It would be real convenient to have a distillery that you could sell some clear spirits out of while you're aging whiskey, waiting for the next whiskey boom.
This is true.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Yep.
Oh my god! I need an elastic. This is insane.
Sheesh.
He's going to start running it under a hot water tap, tapping it.
Just wait. In a minute, I'll be like, damn it, it was a twist top.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You know, you should cut yourself off when you start, pulling a thing. I was like, oh, nope, twist, or the other way around. You just twist and twist and twist and twist. Why isn't this coming out? Twist.
I think the worst is the old the beer bottles that aren't twist pull, and you sit there and you manage to open one. That's when you know it's time to quit. Yeah. I will get this over and see, look, it is.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It opened. It just required me putting several grooves into the side of my hand, but it opened eventually.
The blood will stop. It's all good.
Yeah.
I have just kind of going back there to that rum thing. I've noticed quite a lot of people that enjoy whiskey also enjoy rum, and they are quite similar outside of that sweetness factor. But I've noticed that my appreciation for a good rum has certainly become amplified since my whiskey journey has developed so much.
So here's the question: do we need to do a very, very basics rum stream one day?
Yeah, we could do that. I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yep.
Basically, if it's a distilled spirit and then aged in some wood, I think I could probably get behind it. I've always appreciated a good tequila. My uncle enjoyed tequila so much that he bought himself a condo in Mexico on the west, and he kind of showed me the way for tequila, and it's, I think, more so than any other spirit, the difference between an unaged clear tequila and a properly nice barrel aged tequila is like two different animals altogether. It's almost like a different spirit, because that clear tequila that's made to mass produce and put into bars so people can shoot it down and whatnot is truly tastes like jet fuel to me for the most part. Even the higher end stuff that is unaged and clear, I've never really enjoyed, but a nice proper añejo is a really tasty treat sometime. And yes, Peter White, mezcal is great. A nice quality mezcal is absolutely fantastic.
I've only had a couple of mezcals so far, but they've been interesting. I would definitely try some more.
I've only just been able to start drinking tequila again. University days, I consumed many Skittles and much tequila and lemonade, and I unfortunately saw the rainbow. So I've not been able to touch it again. If you hear some loud noises, by the way, guys, that's just like Thor, the God of Thunder, freaking Hemsworth driving around the streets.
Because it must just be the floof running around, right? That's
he's
thunderous noises.
Thunderous barking.
It's barking. It's just coming from his rear end. It just sounds like
It's fine.
So I have poured myself some Port Charlotte MC01. It's one of my favorite whiskeys of all time. It is one of very few whiskeys that I have doubled up on before I've run out. I mean, it's one of a few whiskeys I've doubled up on, period, because a bottle lasts me a very long time. But I bought another bottle of this before they became less available and more expensive. Yeah, James Dennis there. Good to see you, buddy. You know what I'm talking about. And any of you that have had the MCO1, I don't know what your opinions are on it, but
it's good shit.
Oh, it is excellent, yeah.
It's just spectacular. This was acquired non-locally from an avenue that has recently been cut off. So I'm drinking in memory to that avenue this evening.
Sure.
Was it Avenue 5? That's a joke that Brad's going to get, and it's just gone over your head. It's all good.
Maybe it was Avenue 5. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, James, I have a sealed bottle sitting on my shelf. So if you want to be a little more liberal with your pours, there's always some more for you, buddy.
I have some over here too, so
Awesome.
We can spread it around as necessary.
And that MRC that Dave had at the last tasting was really nice, really nice too. I'm still not sure where I am. I'm not as there's a lot of people I found that really like one and don't so much enjoy the other, and it's usually one or the other. But for me, I enjoy them both quite thoroughly. But this one is, like I said, one of my favorite whiskeys of all time.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Really glad that they took the Port Charlotte and started experimenting, as they do with a lot of their other spirits, into a wine cask. That definitely paid off.
Does that help you cheat a little bit for the non-meat eating side of things?
It is one of
it definitely gives me a lot of meat.
Big time. Yep,
meat
it's one of my cheaters there, like the Mahir Bay. If I ever need some salami burps in my life, I will have a wee dram of that. But yeah, there's certainly hardcore barbecue meats on this.
And James Dennis is going to go on a mooch mission now to your house.
Yep.
I'm sure that's fine.
So ZYN is the avenue that is closed. Is that correct?
That is the avenue that's closed.
Also sneaky Burke stuff, isn't it?
It's closed, but
doesn't Adam Brudner have links and stuff, or was he using that as well?
We all use the same avenues.
Look, Dan, you've got my address. Just Master of Malt, send it to me. I'll look after it for you. I'll tell you how good it is.
Split it up and send. Hey, if we do that, you just pour me up like an 8-ouncer and send it up, buddy, because that's all I really need. I've come to realize that an 8-ounce bottle lasts me a super long time. Maybe we'll have to talk about that.
So Mark,
Master of Malt ships to you?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Is that because you're in the Queen's realm?
Yeah, and it's not illegal for us to ship alcohol. We just got to pay extra tax on it sometimes, maybe. And look, you, Mark, tell Lisa thank you. I think she's an absolutely gorgeous woman as well. It's clearly not temperature. Although, you know, if I make her flush a little bit, that's good for my ego.
I mean, his whole country is on fire, so you know you gotta cut it.
Yeah, but it is ridiculously humid at the moment. So yeah, I am a bit warm, and that's with the aircon cranked. So yeah, aircon can't keep up with the humidity.
Graham Young, cheers right back at you, buddy. Good to have you here.
We'll have to get Graham on again at some point. He's always good. Hey, has Graham been on since Dan's joined Car Strength?
No.
There you go.
Since Vito's not around tonight, I figured I would drink some of his whiskey. So I'm having some Puni Nova.
Nice.
Italian whiskey.
Nice. Yeah,
we found out Vito doesn't even watch these when he's not on it. So
yeah, we can do whatever we want, say whatever we want.
Same as usual.
Yep. It was 3 days before he realized Ed was on there as the new Vito.
Something like that.
Only because someone posted a screenshot.
It's pretty
good. The most fantastic thing is that this has oxidized very, very, very well.
good to know.
I decant all my bottles into those 8 ounces or 4 ounces or 2, if that's how little there is left. When I get around to it and I have the empty boxes or the bottles, I'll always decant into a smaller container if it's available, both for storage and oxidizing purposes. And this one is very low, and it's been in there for a while just because. So tiniest little bit left in there, and I was really expecting some sort of change for better or worse, and it actually is a tiny bit better with the time that it's had in that bottle. So
nice.
Yeah, it's always a pleasant surprise when you haven't gone to a bottle in a while and you're thinking, oh no, like I haven't gone here. All the things that run through your head, like, is this cork going to snap off? Is there cork floating in this whiskey right now?
Right.
Is it going to even taste the same? So it's a great surprise to have it taste better than I recall. So
yeah, some whiskeys are like that. It's interesting to sort of watch the evolution of if it'll stay pretty much the same, if it'll get worse, if it'll get better, or just different, in some lateral direction that's not better or worse.
I was going to say some oxidize incredibly well. Much like ourselves, we age very differently. Some of us age worse than others, and some whiskeys age worse than others once they've been bottled.
Sure.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And I am happy to say I've been on the lucky side of that and had a lot of the positive changes.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, Dan's actually 53, and he's part of Angela Lawson's family. That's why he looks so good for his age.
That'd be it.
Yep.
Decanted Peter White, a decanted 2-pour bottle left of PC8. Our Duchess, I don't know how to. I'm not going to take a shot. My Gaelic isn't super good.
I just say it, a Duchess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Patrick Fulmer, I have you beat on a Talisker 10 bottle. As a matter of fact, Dwyer, when were we in Newfoundland? August 2018, right? So check this out. This is probably a record. August 2018, I bought a bottle of Talisker 10 when I was in Newfoundland, and I still have about 8 ounces of it.
Crazy.
So just to give you an idea, and I had a wee pour of that like 2 days ago too. 2011. Oh, okay. That's Peter White with his PC.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
PC8.
And yeah, Patrick, I'm assuming you're good to the last drop comment is referring to it positively oxidizing for you.
That's the weird thing, isn't it? Because Talisker Storm and Dark Storm
do not oxidize well.
No, they do not. They do not age gracefully.
They do not.
I got to start going through my Dark Storm a little faster because it's starting to get a little low. It's gonna turn on me.
Open up the doobly doo on the confuser, order some Dr. Pepper, have a geese in session.
Could happen. That could happen.
Yep.
Graham, Four Roses single barrel is excellent, and I don't know what you guys pay out east, but here in Ontario, it's one of the best bourbons for the money. I strongly hope that they don't get rid of that here, because in Ontario, once bourbon has a public following and people like it and there's any kind of hype at all, we see almost overnight increases on our bottles, which really sucks, because that Four Roses single barrel. Have you had the Four Roses small batch, Graham? And if you have, what do you think about it? Because I actually really enjoy that too.
Four Roses is interesting. I think it was one of the first bourbons that I went back to a second time after I could actually taste more than just alcohol. It's like, oh, okay. This is what bourbon actually tastes like. I get it.
I'm just having a quick look, and it doesn't look like I can get it with any ease.
Yeah, it's one of those great bourbons for the price. And the cool thing, I like that the cask strength version or barrel proof that they have of those, they have all the different recipes in different releases, which is really interesting and really cool. And I know a lot of places have different recipes, but this is basically the same release. It's Four Roses single barrel, and then you have all the different recipe combinations, and really interesting to compare one against another or against a few others. Hey, Benjamin, good to see you, buddy.
Hey.
Oh yeah, James Dennis is saying the best value with the LCBO, Deanston Virgin Oak, which is usually a pretty solid deal in Ontario for whatever reason.
Yeah, Highland Park 12, Wild Turkey 101, Four Roses single barrel, the Deanston Virgin Oak. All of those are great. We used to have stuff like we used to be able to pay $67 for Lefroy quarter cask, but now I believe it's $87.
That's not a bad price, though. I think we're averaging about 120. Hello, Andrew from Prestige Liquors or Liquids WW. I was on a stream earlier with him. He's a fellow Australian.
Yeah, I caught a good chunk of that stream. It seemed like a good time.
You also got a good chunk
made some money for charity and stuff. It's
yeah,
good.
I was going to say you also got a good chunk of Lefroy 16, didn't you?
I got some Lefroy 16 coming somewhere. It's not going to come here, unfortunately, but I will get it somewhere that I can eventually collect it.
Yeah, you will. The 15-year-old Lefroy is one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, so Dan's just like, yeah, you will.
Yeah.
I will go there and get it.
Gonna fucking swim.
Hey, Dan showing up. When are we going to get our whiskey?
Our whiskey? I'm like,
he's just
yeah, right?
Yeah. Rocks up at the door. So Brad, has the mailman been yet?
He's just gonna get into the car and I'm just gonna be there. Yeah. Oh, hey.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't get it directly here probably, but I'll work it out eventually.
Yeah,
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Glengarry is pretty good value at the LCBO. Yeah, for sure. Graham's mentioning that he has the small batch in his hand right now. Awesome. And he likes it when it's bourbon.
I think Graham was actually, it was a euphemism, mate. It's all good.
And you know what? I've had a couple of the store picks and I've had the barrel strength of the Four Roses and they are spectacular. But the regular old standard mass produced single barrel is really good. It adds in a little more depth than the small batch, which is for me just a little sweeter, a little more traditionally sweet notes from bourbon, a lot of the vanillins and whatnot, and the single barrel I find just gives a little bit more of that rye spice, a little bit more oak. I'm thinking that it spent a little bit more time in the cask. And I also love it when I'm in a bourbon mood, which doesn't happen too much these days. Really weird because my entire life used to be bourbon mood. I was perpetually in a bourbon mood and didn't have more than one bottle of scotch.
Well, it takes some people time to learn, you know.
Oh, I can't. I
can't there eventually.
I can't support it. I can't support it. Trash talking.
Now, so Mike Blissack is here as is Benjamin Eves. So Benjamin, I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek. Just you. Everyone else, close their eyes. Just a little sneak peek of the cask strength plan for today.
Oh my god!
Seems about right. Fair enough.
That's the plan. Yep. So that's what we're doing. Was it non-locals? Wasn't it?
Yeah, stuff we've acquired not locally.
Yep.
So either traveled to acquire or had come to us from distant and far off places.
Yep.
So I just found some Four Roses. It's out of the challenge, budget stuff, but still, not too bad. $100.
Sorry, I forgot the name that Jeremy said behind the handle of Prestige Liquids, but Andrew, Wild Turkey Rare Breed is probably the best bourbon taste per dollar that we get in Canada. It's a little more expensive than the Four Roses, I believe, but again, you're getting basically a barrel proof bourbon at an unbelievable price. I'm not sure where you're in Australia, so I don't know how much it is down there, but it's about $70, I think, for us up here now, and you can't find another barrel proof for the price that's readily available. Some do come along, be it lotto or just some type of allocation, but the Wild Turkey Rare Breed, it's mass produced, it's always around, you can always find it, and it's very reasonably priced, and you cannot go wrong.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So sneak peek into whenever it is that I finish the wrap up video for the month video. I was never a big enjoyer of whiskey and dry. But holy shit, drinking cheaper than I'm used to Scotch with a good ginger beer is freaking fantastic.
Sure.
Like I had a Scotch and Coke, and it was like, because that used to be like the go-to 20 odd years ago. Scotch and Coke, and away you go. But holy shit, like ginger was just completely underrated. And I think you can pull more flavors out without that burn, like those you can pull more of the inoffensive flavors of the whiskey out while still muting the offensive flavors if you're new. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
The things you learn, man, like the things you learn
when you have to force yourself not to spend money on things.
As soon as I find the person who said that this was my challenge, they got some questions.
That bastard.
I tell you. Was it Peter White saying the rare breed is $113 was not good? The the 112. So that's the proof. So the lower proof. Jesus, what that proof is there? Like that must just be a difference in batch, right?
Yeah. And it's weird because we've had it up in Ontario for a long time, for years, and it's always been the 116.8. I've never seen the 112.8, which I thought was a newer release. But again, it's Ontario, so you never know what the heck's going on. We could have a batch from 5 years ago, or we could have a batch that even they don't have in the States yet. You never know what's going on.
It's all over the place.
Peter, nice one. Peter won a birthday bourbon in the LCBO lottery. Nice one, buddy. That's pretty awesome. Because I got diddly squat on the last lotto.
Ditto. But I am going to cheer myself up with a little bit of Talisker Portery.
Ooh, that is really, really tasty.
It is. It's weirdly like exactly what you would imagine Talisker with support notes in it. It's not surprising, but it's like super tasty.
It is. It's really. It wasn't my favorite that you brought to the Talisker tasting, but I think it was the most interesting, like the most unique one.
Sure.
That kind of definitely, like you said, it still has all the Talisker notes. You can certainly tell it's a Talisker, but there was a lot of different stuff that, for me, was outside of their normal wheelhouse of flavors.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the only one that in that tasting that was finished, right? So,
true enough. Yeah. So
it would have some uniqueness just from that, pretty much no matter what else they did.
Patty's got some Kleinleash Game of Thrones, which I'm told is really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Patty.
Yeah, aka Vito the Third.
Vito the
We do have a lot of Vitos. It's nice to have so many Vitos.
So Ed is the new Vito. Vito is Vito the Second, I take it, and then Patrick is Vito the Third.
Original Vito is Vito the Second.
Yeah, no, like original Vito is the second Vito. Yeah.
Yeah, he was replaced, so I mean, he can't be the first.
Yeah.
He's the OG Vito.
And bizarrely, that's about the expression that you would get, like the yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not quite impressed, but let's go.
So is basically, well, that's what cast strength is. It's me, Brad, and Vito, and basically Jeremy now is the new.
You've
No. The show needs a producer. I do know something that it doesn't need, though.
Jokes on him. Wait.
That's what you get for hitting the wrong button.
Oh, that's awesome stuff. Yeah. So
that puts Millhouse in the right spot now.
Steve ate the prototype Vito. It's small batch Vito.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's beta. Vito.
Beta, yeah.
Because he's not an alpha. He's definitely a beta.
Holy moly! What is the ginger product that you are mixing with, sir?
It's not going to be easy for anyone else to obtain outside. So Bundaberg ginger beer. It is a proper fermented ginger beer.
Nice.
Very, very nice. Normally, I've got something there. Normally, they come in a glass jar that looks very much like a stubby, so like a small old style beer thing. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, really, really nice, refreshing, gingery taste. So yeah,
beauty, nice one.
I know you can get it in Singapore, so you don't have to come all the way here, Dan.
Oh,
just good chunk of the way.
Just dip down to Singapore. That makes it easy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. Caleb was saying you can get it at Total Wine.
There you go.
Freaking get it.
That's a lot closer. That's only, a couple thousand kilometers.
Yes, it is a spicy fermented ginger beer, all hazy with little chunks of ginger in it. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Very good shit.
Looks kind of like a whiskey sour to me, which is great.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Are you a citrus guy? Do you think that a squeeze of lime in there would do a disservice, or would it make a benefit?
Actually, you know what? I think if you just had that little bit of even the lime wedge at the side of the glass, just for the aromatics, would be fantastic. But yeah.
I'm a sucker for lemon and lime.
Oh yeah, I'm more a lime over lemon unless it's cheesecake, and then lemon cheesecake all the way. But yeah,
I love a whiskey sour. Is the only cocktail outside of smoky Dr. Pepper that I will choose to drink.
Yep.
Well, I look forward to your feedback on the whiskey sour video that I filmed earlier that isn't up yet.
Yes. Excellent. We know what's going on in each other's professional life.
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely.
And yes, Graham, it is. It makes for an absolutely fantastic Moscow Mule. Absolutely fantastic.
I can see that.
Whiskey sour made with Lafroig is wonderful. Ooh, Mike, I like that tip, buddy. Quarter cask is my go-to actually for smoky Dr. Pepper. It's that sweet spot for me.
You know what you should be having, don't you, Dan?
Yeah. I'm still going to just throw it out there again. And I will get to it because of that wonderful super chat that Graham sent that one time. I still have yet to try Ardbeg 10. But it will happen, I promise. And I will fucking record it all.
I think what needs to happen is when you have a long weekend coming up and you're not like in a self-imposed snow fort, just go to Brad's, film it there, and at worst, you're going to enjoy a fantastic drink and some good company.
If you make it out, to the distillery this weekend, I have a little sample bottle. Dan's Ardbeg 10. So
I have zero objections to any of the logic that Jeremy just presented.
And I'm sure Mark would absolutely thoroughly enjoy having you drink Ardbeg as well. Yeah. He's a little bit of the paid up member of the Church of Smoke as well. So
yep.
Yeah.
What's this Ardbeg stuff you're talking about, Steve?
Never heard of it.
Yeah. No.
Never heard of it. What's Iron Root? Never heard of it. So Benjamin likes to use Port Charlotte for smoky sours.
Okay.
And I was going to say before that last digression is that my sweet spot for using peated Isla in cocktails is quarter cask or Lager 8.
Nice.
For two reasons. One,
see you later, Andrew. You have a good one. Make some good coffees, dude.
Cheers, Andrew.
Yeah, cheers, Andrew. Thanks for coming, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, the Lager 8 and the quarter cask are both super punchy. Sure. So they stand up to whatever you mix them with, and the price is reasonable. I mean, they're not cheap for us, but it's definitely not Flaming Heart or 10-year-old Octomore or the Lager 16, which I'm not by any means opposed to putting in a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, sure.
But I really, really like the Lager 8 and the quarter cask as a mixer when I do that again, because it stands up to it and offers all of that peaty punch right through it.
Yeah, something with some good peat spike in it to balance out the sweetness is very nice.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, Benjamin, Lager 8 is a great, again, I don't know what you guys pay. It's going to be cheaper than what we pay for sure, but for us it's around the $80 to $90 mark. And it's great. It's a great you get when most of us think Lagavulin, I think generally we always go to 16. At least for me, it's something it's the first lager I had. It's probably the most lager that I've had. So I always hold stuff up against it, but you get a bit of that wonderful Lagavulin briny hardcore peat, and I think the youth spike of peat is almost sometimes more enjoyable than the rounded beautiful 16 than the 16, but that depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you want a kick in the face,
right?
Sometimes you want a nice sherried
So here's the question then, because I enjoy a kick in the face every now and then, metaphorically speaking. If the Ardbeg 5 is true, you're going to be getting into that, or
sorry,
the Ardbeg 5, the rumored Ardbeg 5.
If it shows up, I need some for sure.
Yeah. There's that's supposed to be coming out, right?
Yeah.
I
don't think it's out anywhere yet, but it's supposedly coming.
I'm really curious to see, because a lot of the does anybody have any idea whatsoever how old Oogie is, or how old Corey is, or how old Ano is?
I think it's around the 12 year. It's not overly old. And Benjamin, the wee beastie, do you mean the baby fox or the
that's the Ardbeg 5 years wee beastie?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, the storm. Someone's a bit sooky.
Oh, is he a storm sucker? Usually small dogs do okay in storms, and the big ones are the sucks.
He because he's been allowed outside a little bit more, I think he's learnt that storm means rain, and he doesn't like being wet. So he's just been a sook.
Graham is into some
Soy
cologne.
sauce.
Bourbon night is over already in a flash. And
Yep.
now he is on to Coloman, a 12-year single cask Coloman.
Yep. 12-year soy sauce is fantastic.
Wow.
I bet.
That is the oldest Coloman I've heard of. I think the 10-year before that was like one of the older ones. I didn't even know they had a 12-year single cask. That must be spectacular, Graham. Did you pick that up at retail out east?
He must have. Actually, Graham's got a nice little collection brewing, doesn't he, Brad?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Are you by chance mixing Graham Thurston up with Graham Young?
Potentially.
If that's who you were thinking of, yeah, that's a different person. But Graham Young has been getting some nice things.
Oh yeah, he has some tasty stuff.
Oh, I know.
Graham Thurston does too, mind you, because he has a lot of family that makes trips out east and brings stuff back for him.
There was some great selection and prices out east. Not quite Alberta level, but I was really impressed when I went out to Newfoundland. Which is shocking because everything in Newfoundland is more expensive. I should have brought a bunch of chicken there to sell, and then I could have invested in some whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ben. Like, yeah. Oh, hello. There's people talking about you. Hello. Yes. Okay. You're right.
Oh, he's just a floofer.
Now we're all just gonna get distracted by the flu. It's fine.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Tell your friends, people. We've got a dog on this live stream. Okay, we need this. This is views right here.
Good boy.
We could set the floof up with their own camera, you know.
Just put a camera in the floof hole and go from there.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, you guys are joking, but that's like we'll probably hit like 1 million followers inside of a year. With
I definitely wasn't joking. Do you need another webcam, Jeremy?
I've got the server. Hang on a second. I need to ban someone from the
working hard.
Yeah. Goodbye, person.
Mike's on to the gig. He knew that the floof was just Vito in a little furry costume.
It's actually Vito's ginger brother.
Sure.
Who was drinking Stag Junior earlier? Benjamin, was that you? Who was I horrible at scrolling up here. Vito I'm channeling Vito and I'm not scrolling up in the chat.
Tisk. I mean, at least I had an excuse. I had to ban someone.
Sure. Had to.
Batch 9. Okay, yeah, Mike.
Brad's just jealous because he doesn't ban people from Reddit.
No, I was just checking to make sure it wasn't one of my accounts.
Oh,
it wasn't. So I'm safe.
Oh, you're blending Stag and Oogie?
Oh.
Ooh. Hello.
That would be interesting.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, hello. Why aren't you guys broadcasting live right now?
Right.
How is it? I did see something about the Oogie tames the Stag, but it builds more on the palate. This is an interesting. Those are two incredible drams.
Absolutely.
Now, is it a case of, like two good-looking celebrities get together and they have a butt ugly child, or is it just
it happens on occasion.
Yeah, this is like kind of like Mike Tyson and Chuck Norris having a kid. So I don't know. It could turn out good. It's just a genetic combination of the
ugly but lovable.
Oh, here we go. Graham, the Coloman 12 he has the cask from the shop at the distillery in 2018, cask 46 out of 2006, their actual first run ever. Wow.
Nice.
Bourbon cask, smoky burning 55.3, finishes forever with ashes smiles. Amazing, Graham. That sounds fantastic.
That does sound tasty.
Sorry. Yeah, well, come on, Patty. Gavin puked on Sherry, and I had to do so. Wonderful. That is just the life.
That's parenting. Yep. That's
Oh, Peter White, you have a 9-year Heaven Hill cask strength aged in Ardbeg cask from North Star Spirits, and that's one that I really wanted. That is probably the only North Star that has been available in Canada that I have not had. And I thought that I had a line on one, and I was really excited, and the person backed out on me. So,
heck. Yeah, I need some of that in my life. It sounds wonderful.
I think I've missed some stuff. Hang on a second.
And really, anything finished in Ardbeg casks, I need.
Oh yeah,
I need in my life, especially since that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, for the moment, can give it 8 more years with the doubling of distilleries.
Yeah, hopefully it'll start to happen again, because anything that I have had so far that has been finished in an Ardbeg cask or has Ardbeg as a blend or whatever non-Ardbeg releases with Ardbeg have been amazing.
Mm. So something that I do want to experiment later in the challenge side of stuff is basically improving some of the whiskeys and shit like that. And I wonder if teaspooning in effect into a cheaper whiskey with a little bit of Ardbeg would improve it. I can't imagine it would make it worse. And likewise, the old Macallan thing where they used to add sherry syrup into the whiskeys back when you could do that, and it was not frowned upon. Those were some of the best Macallans you could get. So I wonder if messing with it on a very, very base level, like drops thereof, doesn't improve like a cheaper whiskey.
That would be an interesting experiment.
It certainly would.
So sneak peek. I still got to actually, like buy the whiskey and edit the videos. It's the editing part that's the pain in the ass.
I wouldn't know, and I never will, because I leave that up to...
That's a lie. You've edited one already.
No, I didn't.
Didn't you edit that? I thought you did.
Zero editing. Never. Scout's honor in my life. I've never edited 1 millisecond of video in my life in any capacity, including communications class in high school.
Nice.
So, I mean, I did edit video in high school, but admittedly, it was on Betamax, and that might be showing my age.
That's a process.
Yeah.
Peter White, add me up on Facebook, buddy. Daniel James Hayes, add me up, and maybe we'll chat. Maybe.
So shout out to Vito, the new Vito. Best way to improve bad whiskey is to pour a bunch of your rarest in it. Sapoli told me to do it.
Yeah, that's rarest Ardbeg.
Yep, that's true.
Ed's right. That is what you're supposed to do. Rarest and most expensive. I believe she was saying something about Lord of the Isles in Glenlivet Founders Reserve is just a great mix. I know the Canadian Mist mix they did was just a hit.
Absolutely. Barely any stabbings at all. It worked out fine.
Probably the most vigorous, most epic of stabbings.
Yep.
Sometimes it's not the number of stabbings; it's the veracity.
It is.
I believe that sword has actually now evaporated. The mist was so bad that they had to.
It ate through the metal.
It ate the sword. Could be.
It was sand.
Just a handle. It's just a handle.
My steel, and it ate right through it.
Basically, the sword didn't cope with being mistreated like that. It's like, no, I'm out, guys. Frick this for a joke.
That is so good. That was the last of the MCO1.
Oh, nice.
Have you moved on to anything, Brad?
I'm about to. I figured I might as well, since we're doing like random, weird, distant things, get back into some Floki. So
rubbing it in.
yeah.
Nice.
I'm dying to try that.
And Ed, just so you know, Zapoli does the best stabbings, the greatest. They're the most quality stabbings in the world. And her work stitching up the wound is as equally good as when she restabs you in that same wound.
Sure.
Fair point.
Yep.
Yeah. Got to keep you alive somehow.
Yep.
I'm getting.
Otherwise, the stabbings have to stop.
Ooh, Blackadder.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Some Pete Reek. Because it's just spectacular.
Oh, Graham Young. I'm kind of jealous because I am a massive nerd who loves old computer gear, and still may have a 486 within reach.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
My
Classic.
first computer was a Commie 64.
Nice. I had a Micro B, which I don't know what that equates to. It's 1983 or 1984, I think they were released. So a little bit old.
Nice.
What,
My
you
first
guys
one at home, I
computers
think,
down
was an
there?
Apple IIe, but
Yeah.
played with them before then.
And I think I had it was a Dick Smith computer, but I'm pretty much sure it was just a rebranded Spectrum for those old nerds. Yeah.
The one thing I do want, and I don't remember the model number or model name or whatever, was the super tiny Max, like the super tiny little rectangular square.
Oh, yeah, I know the one. You can't get
Yeah.
So Dan, this was 1997, 1987. This is a 486, man, running 66 megahertz.
Nice.
Blazing fast for the time.
Oh yeah.
It was. It's the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Best
That
mice.
sounded sarcastic, but I was being genuine.
Yeah. And an IR port, because
Of course.
Yeah, I definitely remember the old good old days. Dot matrix printers and stuff, and
it was all downhill after DOS 6.22. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
yeah, that's right.
Just nothing beats having to make sure the computer was close enough to the phone that you could actually couple the handset into the modem.
Yep, that was my little brother still doesn't believe some of the stuff that I tell him. He thinks that, and now because I do it all the time, he literally thinks I've seen him go on Wikipedia before and look up dates because he didn't believe me that like we had to physically take the phone off and put it on and 14.4 and I remember I had the day I got a 56K modem, I was literally dancing. So happy to have that speedy connection to my local library to see what they had in stock.
Right.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh,
we're finally connected.
You're trying to sneak on the internet at night to look at, things you're not supposed to look at,
Sure.
and you wake up the entire house. Me and my buddy Mark had a scheme going where we would pack blankets around the modem, around the computer, and try and muffle the sound. and we weren't even doing that bad stuff. We were downloading guitar tabs and just printing them off all night.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, as soon as Brad starts doing it, the screen gets. It's because he's got to dial in, man.
He's on 33.6.
Someone might be trying to pick up the phone in the other room. I don't know. It's messing with the connection.
Mike. All great until someone makes a phone call and drops your 4-hour download of movies. Yeah.
Although I did surprisingly find out ICQ is still a thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah.
My cockatiel
I
mimicked that so damn well that it would make you check your freaking thing. Like, freaking asshole, man.
Yeah, I definitely had to try to download Commander Keen like 3 or 4 nights in a row because my parents kept picking up the phone like halfway
Didn't
through.
you download it recently as well?
Yes, it took
Seconds.
maybe 5 seconds.
Yep.
Maybe 5 seconds to download and install.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with a 486, man. They do the job. And yeah, the 8088. I've got an 8080 in the shed. I don't know if it still runs. I am pretty sure I forgot to park it before I turned it off last time, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You know what? And it might just be in my head because we were mentioning it earlier. This Pete Reek is awfully Ardbeggy. That kind of ash note that I get from Ardbegs is very prevalent here. Has anybody had the Pete Reek from Blackadder? And if so, what is your guess on the distillery? Because they certainly do not disclose it, and all the research I found from people that are reputable literally couldn't even put a guess on it.
I'm pretty sure that someone had a cunning plan when they did that.
Yeah.
Must have been.
And I wonder the effect that actually does have on knowing which distillery it comes from or not. And we all like to think that we maintain integrity and don't judge based on names and all of that. But I'm kind of a firm believer in that having an influence on you no matter what.
Oh, sure.
And once you do know, you can't really compare it to being truly blind. There's some different versions of Pete Reek, isn't there? I'm imagining it would. I believe it's a single cask. It might not be single cask, actually, now that I think about it.
No, it's it's a single malt. So it's not a single cask, but it is definitely. So it's a bourbon cask strength, independent, Isla. No age statement, sitting at 61.3% ABV, which is a solid thing.
This is a single cask. This is handwritten bottle 30 out of 343.
There you go.
Is one of only 343 bottles drawn from a single oak hogshead cask. Reference number PR201808 and bottled by Blackadder in November 2018.
So yeah, there are different things because there is a 61. There is I've just seen a 46%. So there is obviously different, but it doesn't say from where. I'm gonna guess because you can still buy it by the look of it, or they're still releasing, so it can't be Ardbeg. Yes,
unless they really had some hiding somewhere.
Yeah, Donald Rant's got what I was saying, which is good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Jeremy.
I'm aware. I was watching. On a side note, I was watching 1917, and I kept expecting someone to go, "Darling."
I plan on watching that this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, I was quite pleased to see that pop up on my streaming service.
Yes. BF is a very good.
Have either of you guys watched Infinity Train yet?
No. Is that also on my streaming service?
It is on the streaming service that I know that you use, yes.
I have been keen, but I've been holding out on watching Velocipasta.
Yes, that needs to happen too.
Yeah.
Dan is broken.
Is that what it is? I hope that's about
what
it sounds like.
It is what it sounds like
it is. Awesome. Yeah, Graham, I'm one of those guys that automatically assumes that an unknown Isla distillery is Kalila because they produce so much and they're very, very open, obviously, to selling a lot of casks. But there's a certain subtle sweetness that I always get in Kalila, like a very cereal buttercream sweetness.
Do you think it's a boonie?
Pardon me?
Do you think it might be a boonie?
See, my peated Buna experience isn't very great. And I don't want to get into that. Is regular Buna 12 peated and all that jazz. I mean heavily peated. Like, this is clearly a peated Isla. And you know what, Jeremy? It could be because, again, my experience isn't great with peated Bunas. I think I've only had 2. Weren't too similar to this.
And yes, Benjamin Eves, I believe Bemore is where they have sourced stuff in the past as well, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, just because Buna has sort of positioned itself in such a position where, yes, it's an Isla, but it's not relying on that Isla, note per se, that I wouldn't put it above them to be doing a peated that they don't release as their core line. In the same way, because why play in that market? It removes their unique selling point. Like, their unique selling point is hey, here is a non-peated Isla or a lightly peated, questionable Isla. Compare it because obviously the terroir is going to play a role in it as well, and you can't hide behind the peat if you don't have it there. So.
Yep.
I wouldn't put it past them because it would be a good way to get a peated product out there without diluting their positioning in the market long term.
Yeah,
that's a bit too intelligent for this freaking conversation, isn't it?
a bit.
Really, it's getting way too professional around here, so we might have to cut this off soon. I don't know what's going on.
Look, as soon as we get to the hour mark, Brad.
And also, there's a lot of cases where casks escaped distillery bottlings and were sold to independent or private bottlers, and either they keep it a little extra time or maybe they finish it in a different cask and it ends up being just stellar.
Well, I would imagine that in the early days when Ardbeg was still getting back on their feet, like, yes, they were doing their very young, still getting their, almost their releases.
Right.
I mean, they would have been producing an awful lot of whiskey that was not going to be saleable short term, and they would have just filled casks and on-sold them just for that income stream to keep everything going till they got to the 10s and oogies and expanding their lineup. So
Sure.
There could still be a massive stockpile of Ardbeg kicking around.
Could be.
Wouldn't that be tasty?
Somewhere out there might be Ardbeg casks.
Could you imagine a new release 30-year Ardbeg?
Oh my frig! And it makes you really makes you. It's such a man. My mind just blows. It's like thinking about the vastness of space when you think about the possibilities of a whiskey and the evolution and what you can do with it and over time and being good and being bad. And I've heard so many stories of a barrel tasting, pretty good and then deciding to leave it for, an extra 2 years because they think it's going to be great. And then it ends up being really bad. They leave it for another 2 years and it ends up being spectacular, even better than the first. And you have to hand it to those that are experienced enough and talented enough and knowledgeable enough to make those calls. Because, and like, I guess we'll see it maybe firsthand with Mark in the future there. But like, I'd have a panic attack. I'd have anxiety over that, and my OCD would probably make it difficult for me to kind of make that call.
Then there's so like, Robert said it when I was chatting with him, was like, they can taste a barrel on like a Thursday and go, this is fantastic, and then by Monday it's like they've missed their window of opportunity, and then they've got to leave it for a week, a month, or whatever. It'll be ready when it's ready. But I've forgotten the name of the distillery, but there was a distillery that had a fire. The outside of the barrels got burnt, but the barrels were still watertight. What was in it was fantastic. Daniel was talking about it on the Whiskey Tribe not long ago. I wonder if someone's going to start because we're getting close to the plateau of the whiskey boom. I'm pretty sure. I wonder if someone's going to start experimenting with like flame throwing the outside of their
Right.
whiskey barrel and just seeing what the fuck that does. You know,
Right.
like,
What else can we do that is within the legal bounds of the rules? Like, let's just do really weird things.
That would be legal from what I'm recalling on all of my studies for laws. That would be legal in almost every region.
Yep.
So that would be interesting. And you're looking at a guy who loves new charred oak. So
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, with that breathing of that air coming through and pulling that, is that going to add in more vanillins and certain more chemical? That's the kind of thinking that we like to have around here.
Because I know, like down here, with the Bernie shit not good stuff that was happening, a lot of vineyards, and this has happened in the past. Syrah did a release when they had a fire near one of their properties, actually on their properties. That smoke gets into the grapes before a harvest, and it'll either be really, really bitter and tannic and horrible, or it's like an Ardbeg of wine. It's fantastic.
Nice.
It's just finding that right ratio of environmental influence into the product and going from there. Man, now I want a peated wine.
Yeah,
someone should finish some white wine in an Ardbeg cask.
Oh my God, don't get me started on that.
That would probably be good. I would be willing to try that for sure.
I've been so responsible and good not being into wine for the past 6 years. So I've really got to try to stay away. And I have a few bottles at my grandma's laying down under the stairs. And I have a few bottles here that I really, really want to open, but I don't want to get sucked back in. Because wine is...
It's all right, Dan. Just keep an eye out for some 2020 vintages of Australian wines. That shit'll be a bit smoky.
Probably.
I appreciate your ability to bring levity to any situation, Jeremy. Especially to that. You gotta have a laugh, right?
Mate, it's what's the old saying? If you don't laugh, you cry.
Yep.
And that's pretty true with me.
Yep. That's why there's the Aussie larrikin, mate. We're just always laughing.
Yeah.
I'm also very worried because he had a chicken wing before and I have no idea where it is. So am I going to find it in an inopportune spot?
Mystery chicken wing.
Oh.
Have you watched any BuzzFeed Unsolved, Jeremy?
No.
Okay. One of the guys puts on like an Aussie accent now and then, and his favorite thing to say, basically all he says is, "You must be having a laugh."
You must be having a laugh.
Oh, dude, it's so funny. But he says it kind of dark like this, like he's a guy.
I can't really go. I can go the full freaking, that kind of ockery Aussie nasally thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not too shabby, Cobber? Like I can kind of mix it up. It's because I've spent a bit too much time bush.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a euphemism, guys, but yeah.
Sure.
It is true.
Save it for the after show, man. It's all don't be getting us banned from YouTube.
Our After Dark Patreon stream, though, that heavily subscribed After Dark stream.
Don't joke about these things. People will want it for some reason.
That's right. It's not like we don't advertise our Patreon or Ed's Patreon as well. Like Ed from Rock Gut Review, he's got a Patreon. Definitely go find that, guys.
It's true. Just go look on the YouTube channel for Rock Gut Review about their Patreon video.
Yep. It's under Brad Leclerc.
That seems legally dubious. I don't know if I could agree with that.
Brad has a Patreon. Definitely go hit up Brad because he would love that.
Don't do it. Nobody needs that. And now that we've plugged all of the things, we might as well cut it off, right?
What, the things or?
Again, don't get us kicked off of YouTube.
I just want to point out that Mike mentioned it. Oh, if only there was a Canadian distiller crazy / brilliant enough to make their own Ardbeg style whiskey, which we do know one. And Graham responded that the Glenora Glen Breton 19-year cask strength peated malt fits that bill at 59%. That sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, I haven't.
I have
heard of that.
Unfortunately, I've only had one Glen Breton. I think it was a 12-year. It was a fairly standard bottle that was relatively available for the most part that I did see around.
Right. Yeah, I've had the 10 and the 15. They're
all
right.
I think it was a 10. I think it was a 10 now that I think about it. I wanted to say 10 before that. I'm pretty sure it was a 10. It wasn't a 12.
Yeah.
They have a whole bunch now.
So we'll end in a second. But Graham, seriously, for fork's sake, mate.
I see you played knifey forky before.
Oh, yeah, mate.
I want to say that that's racist, but I don't know if that's how it works. It's tricky.
I think it's like the N word and then people from an African or native descent. Like,
so it is racist.
Acceptable as long as the right people are saying it.
So we're going down a dark rabbit hole here. We're spiraling.
We're gonna end this immediately.
We're spiraling. Cut all our losses. That's it. We're out.
So we're cutting.